Leading our bulletin this half hour, the Public Service Association has hit out at the Government Employees Pension Fund and the Public Investment Corporation for advancing a 5 billion to Eskom to cover the power utilities' operational costs for this month. The PIC says Eskom asked for the bailout because it was experiencing significant liquidity problems. It says it conducted its own due diligence and is satisfied that the 5 billion bridging finance for Eskom is fully backed by government guarantee. The Public Service Association has threatened to declare the PIC board illegal as they feel that the Eskom bailout was a betrayal by the GEPF and PIC boards. PSA General Manager Ivan Fredericks said, and I quote, "Our attempts to reason with the Finance Minister, the GEPF and PIC boards have come to naught. This 5 billion unconsulted illegal transaction will be met with necessary consequences for the GEPF and PIC. As per Eskom's latest interim financial results, the power utilities debt stands at 367 billion rand, a 34 billion increase from a year ago. The Eskom board has admitted it needs 20 billion rand to remain a going concern. Adding to its financial woes are dropping electricity sales and rising municipal arrear debts. Eskom's total overdue debt currently stands at 19.4 billion. The net profit after tax is down to 6 billion from 10 billion. Now, for more on this, we're now joined on the phone line by Tahir Maeba, FEDUSA Mancom member and PSA Deputy General Manager. Now, Mr. Maeba, warm welcome to you. We understand that you have taken exception to the decision to advance this 5 billion to Eskom. Just take us through the reasoning here as FEDUSA.
Thank you very much. Just to clarify, I'm speaking on behalf of PSA, not necessarily FEDUSA. I'm just a member of Mancom of FEDUSA. Now, from the PSA's point of view is that, we're asking ourselves a simple question. What has changed? What has changed from the rhetoric prior to the appointment of this board and to now? What has changed in Eskom to justify this particular 5 billion bailout? We must also agree that we cannot have businesses to be charity cases. Eskom is unable to look after its finances. It has failed to look after its finances. And now they are targeting a soft spot, which is the government employee pension fund monies, to continuously bail out institutions that have failed to demonstrate that they are on their road to recover. The mere fact that we have a new board doesn't necessarily mean that the issues that were raised prior to its appointment are gone. The mere fact that the new board has been appointed by the deputy president of the country, not by the previous president, it means that things have changed. It's really disingenuous of PIC to, out of the blue, despite the fact that we had an agreement that they are not going to bail out any institution until such a time we all satisfy ourselves that it is worthy of that bailout. And it must also be understood, we are not against assisting SOEs, but we are saying that the same noises that we were making last year, we should at least have justification why we have changed our tune. And as far as we are concerned, the PIC has betrayed us because we went to Parliament together and we spoke from the same hymn sheet saying that in any case, PIC is overexposed in investment in public institutions. Now to learn yesterday afternoon all of a sudden without even a single phone call from either PIC or GEPF that they've decided to give Eskom 5 billion. I think that is quite disgusting and it's quite malicious in the manner in which they're doing things. We need to be fair about what we are doing and we need to be consistent in terms of our actions. And PIC, to us, we thought it was a friend to rely on. But it is very clear, they cannot be trusted as well.
Now, Phakamani Radebe, the CEO, seems to be toying with the idea of perhaps getting larger public sector creditors such as PIC, as well as the Development Bank of Southern Africa, DBSA and IDC, to convert their existing debt into shares. What is your take on that idea, perhaps toying with that idea of having them become shareholders?
Look, in a way, who owns Eskom? Eskom is owned by the state. Why is the state not bailing it out? The reason why they can't bail out is because of the state itself is technically bankrupt. Now, we as pension fund members, we are told that, but your pension is a defined benefit, so government is guaranteeing that you'll be paid either way. How can somebody who's broke guarantee you anything? So this whole rhetoric about guarantees and all that, it's quite a problem. Now, let's talk about the issue of shareholding. If we are saying that we should turn these soft loans into shares,
yes,
then open Eskom shares to an open market. Why don't you open it up to everybody? Because the reason why they want it like that is because this is a kind of a way to try and manipulate the usage of the 1.8 trillion that is currently in the hands of the PSA. That is the ultimate aim. And we're saying that it cannot be. It cannot be that the public servants can't even have access to that money. They're unable to afford housing. They can't pay for their children's education. And yet, we are throwing around billions like it's getting out of fashion. It is the same PIC that has put us into the situation with Steinhoff by failing to play its oversight role in making sure that they sit also in this board to make sure that monies that are invested there are looked after. And yet they expect us to agree that they can continue just using our members' money willy-nilly as they wish. And we are saying it's not going to happen. We are not going to allow it, and we are going to make sure that they pay the ultimate price. Because of this is not their money. They have no entitlement to it. The depositors must be consulted. They are the ones who must decide their fate, because if anything goes wrong, they stand to lose, not the PIC and its board.
But this state-owned entity found itself in a very precarious position. What was to happen? Because government, as you say, does not have the capital to have advanced 5 billion at this point, and the PIC was the only one. So what was supposed to happen? Were we allowed, or were they to allow Eskom to just go under after having put a new board?
Maybe it's important that we do that. You see, the problem with this is that we all see the dilemma that we are faced with. But in terms of a solution, we are looking at one entity to resolve the solutions of all the problems that we have. What's going to happen tomorrow if SAA comes also and say, I'm sitting in the same position? What's going to happen if a Transnet comes tomorrow and say, I'm sitting in the... Where is it going to stop? All that we are saying that if these things are done, at least be considerate that you are using other people's money, consult those people and put them into confidence. Let them at least have a say in terms of the fate of their money. You cannot just decide as you wish and expect them or expect us to accept that it is okay for you to utilize our money without that sense of consultation. It is not okay. And we are saying that the fact that we had an agreement with PIC that is not going to happen, and yet they went behind our back and just issued that amount. That is a sense of betrayal, and it's something that is unforgiven.
No, hopefully we'll speak to PIC to find out the reasoning behind that. But Mr. Mayepa, thank you very much for joining us this morning. That's Tahir Mayepa, R5bn Eskom member and PSA Deputy General Manager, talking to us on the Eskom bailout story.